In a grand chamber filled with shimmering lights and holographic displays, the Galactic Council gathered to discuss the latest reports from their scouts. The council, made up of representatives from various planets, was known for its power and advanced technology. Today, they were focused on a mysterious old warship that had suddenly appeared on their sensors. Councilor Valar, a tall alien with blue skin and sharp features, stood at the front. "I cannot believe we are wasting time on this," he said, his voice booming. "An ancient human warship? They haven't been a threat in centuries. It's just a piece of junk floating in space." The other council members chuckled at his words. Councilor Thera, a small, green-skinned being with large eyes, added, "Yes, humans are long gone. Their technology is outdated. What can an old ship possibly do?" The laughter echoed through the chamber, filling the air with confidence and a hint of arrogance. The council members were convinced that their advanced starships, equipped with the latest weapons and shields, could easily handle anything the humans had left behind. "Let's hold a demonstration," suggested Councilor Jarek, a wise elder with a long beard. "We'll show everyone how superior our technology is. We can send a fleet to confront this old warship and put an end to this nonsense." The council members nodded in agreement, still laughing. They envisioned a quick and easy victory over what they thought was a useless relic. They decided to launch a fleet of their best ships, each one shining and ready for battle. They wanted to make a statement that the Galactic Council was the strongest force in the universe. Meanwhile, far away in the depths of space, the old warship, named the USS Valor, sat dormant, its metal hull covered in dust and memories. Inside, the crew was in stasis, preserved in time, waiting for the moment they would be called to action again. The ship had seen many battles in its day and was a symbol of human resilience. As the council prepared for their demonstration, alarms suddenly blared on the USS Valor. The ship's systems were coming online after years of silence. The crew, once thought to be lost, slowly awoke from their deep sleep. Captain Sarah Mitchell, a fierce leader with a reputation for bravery, opened her eyes and glanced around at her crew. "Report!" she commanded, her voice steady despite the confusion surrounding them. The crew quickly gathered, still groggy but ready to listen. "Captain, we've detected multiple ships approaching," reported Lieutenant Harris, a tech-savvy officer with a sharp mind. "They appear to be from the Galactic Council." Captain Mitchell frowned. She remembered stories of the Council's power and arrogance. "We need to assess our situation. What condition is the ship in?" The crew moved quickly, checking the systems and repairing the old technology. They had a long history of adapting and innovating even with limited resources. As they worked, Captain Mitchell's determination grew. She knew they could not back down. Humanity's honor was at stake. Meanwhile, back at the Council, the fleet readied for launch. The Council members, still amused by the thought of an old human ship, were confident they would make a fool of their opponents. "This will be an easy victory," Councilor Valar sneered, looking at the screen displaying the approaching warship. As the fleet left the Council's home planet, they prepared to unleash their advanced weapons, certain they were about to demonstrate the might of the Galactic Council. But as the USS Valor powered up its systems, the human crew felt a spark of hope. They knew their ship was old, but still had hidden strengths. Captain Mitchell turned to her crew, her eyes shining with determination. "We may be outnumbered, but we will fight with everything we have. Let them laugh now. Soon they will see the true power of humanity." The USS Valor lurched forward, its engines roaring to life. The crew, filled with a mix of anxiety and excitement, readied themselves for the challenge ahead. They were no longer just an old warship. They were the defenders of Earth, and they were ready to prove their worth to the Galactic Council. As the two forces moved toward each other in the vastness of space, the stage was set for a battle that would change everything. The Council would soon learn that underestimating humanity was a grave mistake, and their laughter would soon turn to fear. As the USS Valor hummed with life, the crew moved swiftly through the ship, their senses sharpening after years of dormancy. Captain Sarah Mitchell stood at the bridge, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and determination. The screens flickered, showing the incoming fleet of the Galactic Council, their ships sleek and menacing. "Status report!" Captain Mitchell commanded, her voice steady and strong. "Captain, we're fully operational," shouted Lieutenant Harris, his fingers flying over the controls. "All weapon systems are online and we're ready to engage." The crew had trained for this moment, but they never imagined they would wake up to find their ship in the middle of a battle. Captain Mitchell felt a surge of pride for her crew, who had served together through many battles in the past. She looked around at their faces, some still showing the weariness of sleep, but most were filled with resolve. "All right, team, listen up," she said, her voice rising above the hum of the ship. "We may be old, but this warship holds the spirit of humanity. We have one chance to show the Galactic Council that we are not to be underestimated. They think we're a joke, but we will prove them wrong." The crew nodded, their faces reflecting a mixture of fear and excitement. They knew they were up against a powerful enemy, but the thought of defending Earth filled them with courage. As the USS Valor prepared for battle, the captain instructed her crew to man their stations. Each member took their place, ready to operate the ship's controls and weapons. The ship felt alive again, as if it recognized its crew and remembered the battles it had fought long ago. "Helm, plot a course to intercept their fleet," Captain Mitchell ordered. "And keep our shields up. We need to protect the ship at all costs." "Course plotted, Captain," replied Ensign Lee, a young officer with a sharp focus. "We're ready to engage on your command." As the crew worked together, Captain Mitchell couldn't help but feel a sense of nostalgia. Memories flooded back of battles fought long ago, moments of bravery and teamwork that defined their mission. They had faced many challenges, and now they had one more to conquer. The crew prepared for what they believed would be a fight for their lives. In the heart of the ship, the engine room hummed with energy. Chief Engineer Ramirez, a veteran of many conflicts, monitored the ship's systems with keen eyes. "We're running at full power, Captain, but we need to be careful. We might not have the same firepower as those new ships." Captain Mitchell nodded, understanding the risks involved. "We have something they don't, a fierce determination to protect our home. Let's show them what humanity can do." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council fleet moved closer, unaware of the awakening of the USS Valor. They were still filled with confidence, ready to demonstrate their superiority. Counselor Veller stood at the helm of his flagship, a massive vessel glinting in the stars. "Prepare to fire! Let's show this old warship what true power looks like," he shouted, his laughter echoing through the command center. Back on the USS Valor, the crew took a deep breath, readying themselves for the fight ahead. They could hear the distant roar of the Council's ships approaching, and the tension in the air was palpable. "Captain, they're closing in," Lieutenant Harris warned, his eyes glued to the screens. "They think they can take us down with one attack." "Not if we can help it," Captain Mitchell replied, her determination solid. "Prepare to engage on my mark. Let's show them the heart of humanity." As the Council's ships loomed closer, the USS Valor stood strong, a testament to human ingenuity and spirit. The crew felt a bond like never before, united in their purpose. They knew they were outmatched, but they also knew they were not alone. "Now!" Captain Mitchell shouted. "Fire!" The USS Valor unleashed its weapons, bright beams of energy shooting out toward the incoming fleet. The battle had begun, and humanity's fight for respect and survival was finally underway. The Council's laughter would soon fade into the silence of space, replaced by the roar of defiance from the old warship and its brave crew. The USS Valor surged forward, its engines roaring as bright beams of energy shot out from its cannons. The crew felt the thrill of battle in their veins. Captain Sarah Mitchell stood tall at the bridge, her eyes focused on the approaching fleet of the Galactic Council. She could see their sleek ships moving in formation, ready to strike. "Target the closest ship," she commanded, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her. "Fire at will!" The crew moved with precision, their training kicking in as they coordinated their attack. Lieutenant Harris pressed the buttons on his console, and the ship's weapons unleashed another volley of energy blasts. The beams lit up the dark expanse of space, streaking toward the nearest Council ship. On the bridge of the Council flagship, Counselor Velar watched in disbelief as the ancient human warship fired back. "What? How can they be attacking us?" he shouted, his confidence shaken for the first time. "Return fire! Show them what real power looks like." As the Council ships responded with their own weapons, bright flashes filled the void of space. The USS Valor shook from the impacts, but the old warship stood strong. The crew, fueled by adrenaline and determination, worked tirelessly at their stations, shields holding at 70%, reported Ensign Lee, his voice steady but strained. "But we can't take too many hits like this. Keep them up," Captain Mitchell ordered. We need to outmaneuver them. Turn to port and get us behind their formation. The USS Valor responded quickly, its crew working together like a well-oiled machine. They dodged enemy fire and slipped through the chaos of battle, targeting individual council ships. The council members had never faced such a fierce opponent from humanity, and their initial arrogance began to crumble. As the USS Valor flanked a council cruiser, the crew took aim. "Now! Fire!" Captain Mitchell shouted. The ship erupted with energy blasts, striking the cruiser's hull with precise accuracy. The enemy ship trembled under the force, and for the first time, the council members felt fear. "Damage report!" Councilor Velar barked, his face pale. The crew frantically checked their systems. "Shields down to 60%. We need to regroup," one of his officers shouted. "Regroup? No! We can't let them gain the upper hand," Velar shouted, panic creeping into his voice. "Increase firepower and push forward!" Meanwhile, on the USS Valor, the human crew celebrated their first success. But they knew the battle was far from over. "We've done some damage, but we can't get cocky," Lieutenant Harris cautioned, his eyes scanning the screens. "They're regrouping for another attack." Captain Mitchell nodded. "Keep up the pressure. Let's hit them while they're vulnerable. Target that cruiser again!" The crew complied, their spirits high as they continued to fire at the enemy ships. The USS Valor became a beacon of hope for humanity, its energy beams piercing the dark void as they fought back against the overwhelming Council fleet. As the battle raged on, the Council's ships began to struggle. They had expected an easy victory, but they were met with the fierce spirit of the USS Valor and its crew. One by one, Council ships fell under the relentless assault, their hulls cracking and breaking apart in the harshness of space. "Captain, one of their cruisers is losing power," Ensign Lee reported, his eyes wide with excitement. "They're in trouble." "Finish them off," Captain Mitchell ordered. "We can't let them escape." The crew's energy intensified as they targeted the disabled cruiser, sending a final blast that struck its core. The ship exploded in a brilliant flash, a testament to the human crew's resolve. Cheers erupted on the bridge as they watched the enemy ship break apart. But the victory was bittersweet. Captain Mitchell knew the fight was not over. The remaining Council ships were now angry and desperate. They regrouped and prepared for a more coordinated attack. "Stay sharp, everyone!" Captain Mitchell called out. "We've shown them we can fight, but we need to stay focused. This battle isn't over yet!" The crew took a deep breath, readying themselves for the next wave of attacks. They knew they had made their mark, but the Council would not give up easily. The USS Valor had sparked a fire in their hearts, but the battle for humanity's respect had just begun. As the battle continued, the USS Valor was surrounded by the remnants of the Galactic Council's fleet. Captain Sarah Mitchell surveyed the damage on her screens, her heart racing. They had scored some victories, but the Council ships were regrouping for a final push. The air on the bridge was tense, filled with the sounds of alarms and frantic voices. "Captain, we're down to 50% shield power," reported Ensign Lee, his voice tight with anxiety. "If they hit us with everything they have, we won't survive another attack." Captain Mitchell took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. "We need a new plan," she said, her mind racing. "We can't just take hits and hope for the best. We have to outsmart them." Lieutenant Harris, who had been studying the enemy movements, chimed in. "I have an idea, Captain. The Council ships are powerful, but they're not as maneuverable as we are. If we can draw them into a tight formation, we could use our weapons to hit multiple targets at once." Captain Mitchell nodded slowly, considering the plan. "That could work, but we'll need to be quick. If we wait too long, they'll figure out our strategy." The crew moved with purpose, each member ready to execute the plan. Captain Mitchell turned to her navigation officer. "Ensign Lee, chart a course that will bring them closer together. We want them to think they can trap us. Get ready to make sharp turns and weave in and out of their formation." "Yes, Captain!" Ensign Lee replied, excitement building in his voice. "Lieutenant Harris, prepare our weapon systems to fire on my command. We want to maximize the damage to their ships," Captain Mitchell ordered, her heart pounding with anticipation. As the USS Valor began to maneuver, the Council ships tightened their formation, thinking they had the humans cornered. Councilor Velar, watching from his flagship, felt a surge of confidence. "They're trying to escape!" he shouted. "Close in and finish them off. We cannot let them get away." The Council ships moved in, believing they had the advantage. But Captain Mitchell had a different plan. "Now!" she shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos on the bridge. Turn hard to starboard! The USS Valor executed a sharp turn, darting away from the oncoming council ships. The enemy fleet followed, thinking they could catch the old warship easily. Prepare for firing solutions! Lieutenant Harris called out, his eyes focused on the targets. The crew worked quickly, calculating angles and distances. The USS Valor was small and agile, while the council ships were large and heavy, making them easier targets when clustered together. Now! Fire! Captain Mitchell commanded. The USS Valor unleashed a barrage of energy blasts. The beams shot through the darkness, striking multiple council ships in quick succession. Explosions rocked the enemy fleet, and the counselors could hardly believe their eyes. "Captain, we've hit 3 ships!" Ensign Lee shouted, his voice filled with excitement. "They're losing power fast." Counselor Villar's face twisted in disbelief. "How are they doing this? We underestimated them," he shouted to his crew. "Get us out of here! Regroup!" But it was too late. The USS Valor was relentless, continuing to fire at the disoriented council ships. The crew felt a surge of adrenaline, knowing they were making a real impact. "Keep it up! We can't let them escape!" Captain Mitchell urged, her eyes sharp and determined. As the USS Valor continued its assault, the Council's remaining ships began to scatter. They had lost their cohesion, and the humans were capitalizing on their weakness. The old warship weaved through the chaos, striking out at individual ships that had become separated from the fleet. "Captain, we have another cruiser in our sights," Lieutenant Harris called out, his excitement palpable. "Shall we go for it?" "Absolutely. Lock on and fire!" Captain Mitchell replied, her voice steady with confidence. The USS Valor unleashed another powerful blast, hitting the cruiser squarely. The ship shuddered and began to break apart, sending debris spinning into the void. The crew erupted in cheers, their spirits soaring as they saw their plan come to fruition. As the battle raged on, the Galactic Council learned a hard lesson. They could not underestimate the resolve of humanity. The USS Valor was not just an old warship. It was a symbol of hope and strength, and the crew was ready to fight until the very end. With each successful hit, the crew felt a newfound confidence. They had come together, united by a common goal. And now they were proving that human ingenuity and courage could stand against even the mightiest foes. The tides of battle were turning, and the USS Valor was leading the charge. The USS Valor soared through the void of space, its crew buzzing with excitement and relief after their hard-fought victory against the Galactic Council. Captain Sarah Mitchell stood on the bridge, watching as the remaining council ships fled, their once confident demeanor shattered. The cheers from her crew echoed around her, but she knew that this was only the beginning. "Status report!" Captain Mitchell called, bringing the crew back to focus. Ensign Lee quickly turned to his console. "Captain, we've sustained some damage, but our systems are stable," he reported. "We can still move, but we'll need time to repair." Captain Mitchell nodded. "Get the damage control teams ready. We need to make sure we can defend ourselves in case they regroup." As her crew began their tasks, Captain Mitchell felt a wave of pride. They had shown the Galactic Council that humanity was not to be taken lightly. They were fierce, determined, and capable of great things. But the battle was not just about winning. It was about building relationships and alliances. Just then, a communication alert sounded. Lieutenant Harris turned to Captain Mitchell, his face lighting up. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from a nearby ship. It's from the Zorath, a member of the Galactic Coalition." "Put it through!" Captain Mitchell said, curiosity piqued. The screen flickered to life, revealing a tall, blue-skinned alien with bright yellow eyes. "This is Ambassador Zella of the Zorath. We have witnessed your battle against the Galactic Council. Your courage has not gone unnoticed," she said, her voice calm yet powerful. "Thank you, Ambassador," Captain Mitchell replied, a smile forming on her lips. "We did what we had to do to defend our home." Zella nodded, her expression serious. "The Galactic Council has made many enemies with their arrogance. Your bravery has inspired others, including my people. We wish to offer our support and establish an alliance with you." The crew erupted in applause, but Captain Mitchell raised her hand to calm them. "What would this alliance mean for us?" she asked, focusing on the task at hand. "Together we can stand against the Council's tyranny," Zella explained. "We have resources and technology that can help strengthen your defenses. In return, we ask for your cooperation in opposing the Council's expansion into our territories." Captain Mitchell considered the proposal. This was a significant opportunity for humanity. "We would be honored to ally with the Zorath," she replied, her voice steady. "Together we can ensure our independence and protect our homes." Zella smiled, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "I will send a delegation to discuss the details further. The Council will think twice before underestimating humans and their allies." As the communication ended, the bridge was filled with renewed energy. The crew realized that they had not only defended their ship, but had also opened a door to new possibilities. "Captain, this is incredible," Lieutenant Harris exclaimed. "We're not just fighting for ourselves anymore. We're fighting for the entire coalition." "Yes," Captain Mitchell agreed, a fierce determination burning in her eyes. "We've shown the Council that we're not afraid to stand up for ourselves. We will build new alliances, and together we will be stronger." Days passed as the USS Valor continued to make repairs while awaiting the Zorath delegation. During this time, Captain Mitchell and her crew prepared for the new challenges ahead. They studied Zorath technology, learning about advanced weapon systems and strategies that could help them in future battles. When the Zorath delegation finally arrived, they were greeted warmly by the crew of the USS Valor. Ambassador Zella introduced her team, and discussions began in earnest. The humans and Zorath shared their experiences, forming bonds of friendship and understanding. "This is a new chapter for humanity," Captain Mitchell said during one of the meetings. "We are no longer isolated. Together we can make a real difference in this galaxy." The Zorath representatives nodded in agreement, excited about the potential of their newfound alliance. They discussed joint training exercises and shared intel about the Council's movements. As the meeting concluded, Captain Mitchell felt a sense of hope and possibility. They had faced the Council and emerged victorious, but more importantly, they had gained allies. The galaxy was vast and filled with challenges, but with the Zorath at their side, humanity was ready to face whatever came next. The USS Valor had become more than just a ship. It was a symbol of strength, unity, and the enduring spirit of humanity. Together with their new allies, they would chart a course for the future, ready to defend their home and protect the freedoms they had fought so hard to achieve. The Galactic Council had underestimated them before, but they would not make that mistake again.